called that came down from the feds. Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, and Big U all arrested, as well as a bunch of other people. What kind of insight can you give me into this case?
So the big takeaway here is that there's actually two things happening. There's a Rollin 60s takedown, which means that they have rounded up a bunch of people who they say are in this gang or affiliated with this gang and brought them in for questioning some of them. They've charged some of them, and then they've put some of them in a Rico indictment. But that's very important. The Rico indictment against Big U is different from the Rollin 60s takedown. So Big U's on an indictment with like 6 or 7 other people.
Hmm.
They've got a RICO charge in there. They've got a murder charge in there. He's facing life in there. Now, separate from those 6 or 7 people is separate charges against people who were in the Rollin 60s, allegedly, but not part of the indictment. And so this is very interesting. You saw that press conference. They got like 30, 40 pictures, okay? And then they got a couple charges, individual cases. And then there's the Big U indictment, which is really just, I count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 people. There's only 7 people on the Big U indictment. One of them is your friend Loose Cannon.
Right.
Now, separate from that, there's also a case against Brick Baby. Brick Baby is not in the Big U indictment. He's mentioned, like, sort of tangentially, but he's not a defendant in that Big U indictment.
Because he was allegedly extorted by Big U because he did a robbery and Big U apparently wanted some percentage of the money.
Well, I was not aware of that, but that would make a lot of sense because you would not want to indict Brick Baby saying that he's part of the Big U enterprise if the story is that Big U's out there extorting Brick Baby. Now, Brick Baby has a totally separate charge.
Okay.
He's just got some possession of firearms ammunition charge.
Right.
All of this dates back to an Article 3 wiretap that was back in 2022. I don't know how many people really know about this, but what happens is when you want to get a wiretap, the feds want to get a wiretap, they have to go to a judge, submit an affidavit. Now, nobody knows what happened back in 2022, but back in 2022, the documents are all fully sealed. We know nothing about it other than this. There was a wiretap. That wiretap was on a couple of phones, including Big U, Sylvester Robinson, Mark Martin. Now, Sylvester is Big U's right-hand man, AKA they. Mark Martin is AKA Bear Claw, another member of the Big U indictment. And then there's Brick Baby. And Brick Baby's phone was tapped under this wiretap from back in 2022. What you had happen is you had that wiretap in 2022. Fast forward to last year, an individual named Christian Forbes get